What up to my peoples and welcome to Retro Crunch. So starting off the retro pop culture news. Growing up as an 80s kid, every year it was cool to watch the seasonal Charlie Brown specials. You probably watched them too. The Great Pumpkin, A Charlie Brown Christmas, just so many great ones to watch. Now Apple, who owns the rights to the Peanuts gang, is carrying on that tradition, albeit we can't really watch them on regular cable like we did as a kid. Last year, Apple made Auld Lang Syne, which was a special that was about New Year's, and I believe that came out on December 10th. But on April 29th, they have a new one that's called All the Small Things Charlie Brown, and that one's going to be celebrating Earth Day. But Apple is also working on a Mother's Day one, and then there's a back to school special that they're working on as well, in case you were wondering about when those are coming out. But for It's the Small Things Charlie Brown, they have a brand new trailer, and the art on this I thought was gorgeous. I love the black lines, the deep black lines that they have around the characters. Really a throwback to the old Charlie Brown specials that we remember. But I'm not really that excited for the voice acting for Charlie Brown though. I always really loved Charlie Brown's husky and scratchy voice that he had in the old specials that I used to watch when I was a kid. This Charlie Brown, it didn't remind me of that very much. And something to add to this news is that the 1976 special, It's Arbor Day Charlie Brown, it is also going to be premiering on the same day, and from what I hear, you really need to watch It's Arbor Day before watching the new It's the Small Things Charlie Brown, because I hear they might be linked. But if you're waiting to check out this new Charlie Brown animated special, All the Small Things is going to be premiering on April 29th on Apple TV+. But before we move on to the next story, did you guys know that Marmaduke has a movie that's coming out on Netflix, and Pete Davidson is going to be voicing Marmaduke? It's going to be premiering on Netflix on May 6th, in case you wanted to know. Then in our next news, if you're a fan of Star Trek The Next Generation, which is one of the most popular Star Trek shows ever created, in the next season of Picard, they're going to be bringing back a ton of the original cast from TNG. We're talking about LeVar Burton, Jonathan Frakes, Michael Dorn, Gase McFadden, Bruce Spiner, Marina Sirtis. There's just a ton of them. Basically, all the original cast are coming back. Well, minus Wesley Crusher, but who cares? This is just very fitting that the story of Jean-Luc Picard is going to end honoring the first introduction of Jean-Luc and his supporting cast in the first place. And speaking of Star Trek, so there was a poster that came out for Star Trek Strange New Worlds recently that actually had Spock's full name listed on it. Now, it was S'chn T'gai Spock. I'm not sure if I'm butchering that or not, but that is the name that they put on the poster. But here's an update. Paramount actually came back and said that the name that was on that poster was actually incorrect. Now, I'm not really sure if I want to believe that, because back in 1985, there was a fan-made novel that turned into a full Star Trek novel that actually used S'chn T'gai Spock in that book as being his full name. So I'll leave it up to you guys to think what you think. Then before we go, here's a couple more retro stories that you guys might want to check out. Rob Zombie posted an Instagram pic of a shot behind the camera while making the new Monsters movie, and this is only making me more excited for it. And if you're into Chucky from Child's Play, you might be in luck, because there is a full-size replica of the Chucky doll that's coming out. Now, I know there's been replicas that have been released over the years, but this one comes with a interchangeable pizza face head, and his freaking eyes move. No thanks, but I'll link to the website if you guys want one. And that's your news for the week. If you are into retro news and nostalgia stuff from back in the day, I'll see you in the next video. I'll catch you on the flip side, and remember, if it ain't retro, it ain't worth watching.